Quick pop quiz. Which has the higher attack? A great sword with 1200 attack or a sword and shield with 350? If you guessed that they're both the same, you're correct. They have 250 raw attack each. To calculate damage that you do to a monster, there's several steps that you need to go through. This covers what you do for Blademaster weapons. Step 1 is to figure out what your real attack power is. Then factor in sharpness, affinity, then the length or the motion value of your attack, any special modifiers, and then the overall defense of the part that you're attacking. Figuring out your raw power is actually really easy. It's kind of a hidden system that Capcom has tucked away. Here's a list that shows the modifiers. Just take the attack power that's shown on your equipment screen and divide it by the number shown here, and that will tell you what your real attack power is. The reason why they did this was that you could look at two different weapons and get a good sense of the average amount of damage that you'd be doing with that weapon. You also now know that raw power, this is how it works. So something like attack up L, which is plus 20 raw, for a switch axe would give you plus 108 attack. On the flip side, skills like the horn attack up L, which increases your attack by 20%, you can see why it's very powerful. Because for a 250 weapon, 20% would be 270 attack for a switch axe, over double what it would be for the attack up L skill. I have another video covering this on my channel, but the next step is to factor in sharpness. Sharpness in this game is absolutely equatable to the amount of damage that you do. So for example, if you were attacking with white sharpness, you'd be doing or calculating at 1.32% of your actual raw. So if your attack raw was 250, you would calculate as if it was a 330 weapon. The next step is to factor in affinity, which is the percentage chance that you can get either a positive or negative critical hit. For actual individual calculation, you're going to want to factor in whether or not you had a critical hit or not. But this is the formula that tells you what you could expect your attack power can be from a weapon that you might be thinking about making. If you had a weapon that was like the Rajang hammer at 1560, 10% affinity minus would mean that you could expect about 1521 as its total output. The next step is motion value. So the basic rule is the longer the attack takes to do, the more powerful it is. So the standard pound attack for the hammer has a value of 42, which means that you're going to do 42% of your actual raw attack as damage. However, you have to look at the defense for the part of the monster that you're attacking. For example, Kazu's head is 65% and the tail is 20. So attacking the head does 3 times, actually more than 3 times the damage of hitting the tail. Finally, I won't cover it here because it gets very detailed, but certain weapons have certain modifiers, for example charge levels or file types, that you would then factor in at this part. And overall, quests have what we call a defense or an overall defense level. So when you're going on to high rank or G rank and you notice that it takes longer to kill monsters, it's not because they have more health, it's that you're doing less damage due to this modifier that gets applied at the very end. So you can also see where attacks that do fixed damage, such as barrel bombs and barrel bomb pluses, gun lance shelling, charge blade blast, blast damage explosions, poison and stuff like that, can actually come in much more handy later on in the game because they ignore the defense totally. In part 2, we're going to cover elemental damage, which is an integral part of figuring out how much damage your weapon is doing, so I hope you look forward to it. Happy hunting.